Hi everyone who's watching this. It's Linda Binns here with another inspiring conversation. And today I'm very happy to be speaking with Sophia. Now Sophia is, let me get this right, she is an ILS master coach and trainer, and she is the founder of Say Coach. So she actually trains other coaches. So I'm very interested to speak with you, Sophia, to learn more about what you do. So welcome and thanks for spending time with me today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me and for chatting to me. It's always nice to connect.
So what's an ILS master coach and trainer? Explain what that is, if you would.
So ILS is an abbreviation for Inner Life Skills. And Inner Life Skills is a coach training school that is based in South Africa, but we work completely online. So we've trained over 35,000 students around the world. So it's an amazing company founded by Colleen Joy Page, and it's basically a company that trains all kinds of coaches. All the courses are ICF accredited. So we have professional coach certification courses that are a bit longer. So the professional coach course is longer and the master coach course is longer, but then we've got a bunch of really juicy and interesting short courses for coaches to just kind of add additional skills to their toolbox. So we've got an Enneagram coach certification. We've got a purpose coach certification. So you learn all kinds of really interesting tools to coach purpose with clients. We've got a relationship coach certification. We've got all kinds of, we do a systemic coach certification. So learning how to do family constellation work. Definitely go and check out Inner Life Skills' website to get more of a sense of everything that we have to offer. But yeah, I'm a master coach through them, and I am also one of their trainers.
Wow, well, and that's certainly speaking my language, because Inner Life Skills, love all of that. And you mentioned Enneagram, absolutely love that. I like to use that too, although I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I've certainly found it to be very useful for myself, but in my own work as well. And you also are the founder of Say Coach. So what is Say Coach?
So basically, when the pandemic hits in 2020, I think a lot of people's work and home lives actually were turned upside down. A lot of people had to adjust to working online, working from home, or potentially losing their jobs as a result. People had to suddenly learn how to navigate having the kids at home, homeschooling, having their partners at home, having to share space to work and to just carry on with life. And I think it was a big crisis for a lot of people. And I was very fortunate and very grateful that my work stayed pretty much the same, because I have worked online from the get-go. I actually have never trained or coached in person. I have had coaching clients that were in person, but my business has always been based primarily online. And then I noticed that more and more people were inquiring with Inner Life Skills around potentially kind of customizing coaching hours, or is there another option, because they wanted to join the classes to become a certified coach, but for some reason they couldn't make those class times, those dates and times. And these were for all kinds of reasons: time zone differences, having to homeschool kids, having a strenuous situation going on at work. And basically I just felt very pulled to support people as much as I could and help them to get certified anyway. So I started offering these trainings one-on-one with customizable hours, dates and times, and so allowing it to be very customized, very personalized, and very student driven. When would work for you? And I found that there was a huge demand for this. I ended up training more than 20 people one-on-one that year. It was just kind of people really wanted it. And I also found that working with people one-on-one and training them in this way allowed for an added layer of customization and personalization, because not only was I teaching them these processes and the work, I was actually able to demonstrate with them and coach them myself and get to know them not only as a student, but actually as a client in a way. Usually in the group classes, I mean, there are on average, about 17 people per class in inner life skills. And usually we do breakout rooms, we pair people up and they can practice the processes with each other. But with one-on-one training, I am part of that process, and I actually get to know the person that I'm training to be a coach on a much deeper level than in the classes. And so I started customizing the training even more to be very relevant to not only their professional lives, like why are they looking for this certification? How do they want to use these tools, and making it relevant in that way, but also in their personal lives, how this work that they are learning to take other people through, how it's transforming them, and how I can help facilitate that even more. So I stepped into this role of trainer, coach, mentor, kind of just all very much blended into one. And because there was such a demand for it, I decided to actually just form a business through this, because I'm licensed to train within inner life skills. So I can train people that I find who want the training myself. It doesn't have to only come through inner life skills. So I chatted to Colleen Joy and I told her about this, and she loved the idea. And she basically said, she would really back Say Coach as a kind of a partner for inner life skills. And so I've got about 14 inner life skills trainers on board with me at Say Coach. So we've got this incredible team, and people in this team are such experts. Some have been in this field for more than 20 years. I am a baby in the inner life skills team, actually. And I've been a coach full-time for 7 years. So just to give you an idea of the level of expertise we have here. And it's just, we are just here to offer support for coaches. So not only do we offer these customized one-on-one trainings, we also just offer mentoring, coaching, soundboarding, business coaching, whatever it is that coaches need to kind of take their coaching to the next level, whether they want to upskill themselves, or whether they want help actually getting clients or building a business, or if they're not sure how to market themselves in a way that feels authentic and still kind of feels aligned to them. Whatever it is, we've even helped people to kind of design group training programs or corporate trainings, or design their coach courses. I mean, it's just, we just facilitate and guide however we can. If they want to become ICF certified, we can help with that. It's just very all-round focused on coach support.
Well, I love how you found that need, because I've been on sort of many calls and things where there are many people from different countries, and for some people it's like 3 a.m, and they clearly they wouldn't be there if there was another choice. So I think that's really, really smart of you to recognize that, and to set that up so that you could support those people. I mean, I can imagine that makes a huge difference to them. And certainly with everything that's going on in the world right now, coaches are needed more than ever, because people are really struggling in so many ways. Now, what led you into coaching in the first place? What were you doing before you did this?
Oh my goodness, it feels like a lifetime ago. So I actually, while I was when I went to university after high school, I went to the University of Cape Town, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I had ideas about things that I enjoyed, but I didn't have a very clear understanding, because I struggled with quite severe health issues in high school, and I missed about 2.5 years of high school. And at first that can seem like a really devastating situation, but I was actually immensely grateful for it, because it allowed me more mental time and space than most people have in high school. You know, high school keeps you so busy and just focused on so many different things that very few people actually have the time to stop and ask themselves, what do I really like doing? What am I naturally drawn to? And I was fortunate enough to have that. So I, you know, while I was sick at home, I started learning how to meditate and how to use my inner resources very consciously. And so I was very, you know, I delved quite deeply into various forms of spiritual practice. And you know, when I finished high school, my parents asked me, so what do you want to do with your life, you know, in terms of a career? And I said, I want to be a spiritual healer. And my parents were like, okay, so just go and get a degree and then you can be a spiritual healer. So I thought, well, okay, you know, I'm not going to say no to further education. So I was very grateful to go to university, and I did a general Bachelor of Arts where I studied all kinds of things that interested me. You know, I did a course on religion where we just dove into all the major religions of the world, and I just thought it was fascinating. And I studied ancient mythology and literature and film, and I just enjoyed myself and absorbed the information, but I still wasn't entirely sure what I really wanted to do with it practically. And so when I finished, when I got my degree, I worked for a company called Shift for a little while, where we were hosting these mass meditations and yoga events on the beaches in Cape Town. And it was a lot of fun. We would draw in sometimes a few thousand people to these events. And it was just, I really enjoyed like helping out with that. And then at one of these events, there was a coach that came to do a guided meditation with everyone. And her and I were just chatting a little bit at this event, and she invited me for a life coaching session and with her. And I had never heard of life coaching. I mean, I'd heard of it, but I didn't really know what it was. I think a lot of people have the perception that a life coach is someone who just thinks they know a lot about life and that they're just going to dish out everything they think they know. But it's the complete opposite. I mean, I didn't know this at the time. So I thought, well, you know, why not? It's a new experience. Let me go and see. And I was blown away during the session with her. I was like, she didn't tell me what to do once. She didn't tell me what she thought once. That's weird. And yet I walked away with so much and so much insight. And I was fascinated, absolutely fascinated by this. So I inquired with her, and she actually told me she studied through Inner Life Skills and just kind of directed me there. And I did this Coach 101 course that Inner Life Skills and Say Coach offers. And it's a short course just to kind of allow you to dip your toes in the water of coaching and see if it's something that you like. And I was hooked. I mean, from that day, it was just this, it became this beautiful obsession for me. I did one course after another, and I just worked to refine my skills, and I practiced and I coached, and I just really took it all in. And and then my journey just unfolded from there.
Wow. And what I love about that is how you took a situation, you know, like being sick when you were in high school, and instead of, you know, so many people would take that experience and see it as the worst thing, and, you know, just allow it to really take them into a downward spiral. But I love how you use that to learn, to meditate, to kind of go inwards, really. And I think that's what then led you on the journey. I love the guided meditations on the beach. That sounds wonderful to me. What a great job. What a great first job. And then from there, you know, to be introduced to life coaching. And I think it's that, you know, because you used that illness as an opportunity to go within. And then that's what's kind of opened all these doors for you. And I think that's a great example of those life skills, inner life skills at work, really allowing you to step into that flow.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I mean, I was tapping into these inner life skills much sooner than I realized, actually. You're right. And I think that during the time that I was telling my fiance about this 2 days ago, actually. But I remembered a time when I was so sick. I was actually getting a little bit depressed, because I didn't have any social interaction. Physically, I couldn't do much, I couldn't, yeah, I had to go within. But I remember I saw this therapist at the time, and I just remember how much I loved the space she held for me. It was such the word is delicious. It was delicious, the space. And I think it was the fact that I had that space at such a young age that I was able to be quite aligned with what matters to me, which then kind of led me on the path to doing what I do now, which is to hold that space for others. I mean, that is what I do. I offer that space, that feeling of just being able to breathe and look into yourself and actually ask yourself questions and see what comes up for you. Very few people have really had much opportunity for that space. You are just kept so busy and so bombarded from such a young age that, I think people can sometimes get to, a very advanced stage of their life before actually asking themselves, hang on, do I even want to do any of this? Do I even like any of this?
That's so true. Yeah, that's so
and
true.
So I want to give others that space.
Yeah. And you, how fortunate you were to have that at such a young age, because I truly believe, what I see is that I think there comes a point in people's lives where they're, you could say, invited to do that, to go inwards, or sometimes forced to go inwards. But I think it comes to all of us, and we can ignore it if we choose to. But I think it seems to me that everybody reaches a point where you can ignore it for so long, but then there comes a point when you have to do that. So to start off from that point where you're just doing that naturally is such a gift, such a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and I'm very grateful. I mean, I definitely went through a few years at university where I was quite confused. I mean, I definitely wasn't always just, I think everyone has to have those years where they just kind of question things and try to, because, you grow up in a certain environment where you are kind of told this is how things are. And then when you break out of that, I think it's a very normal stage to go through, where you just go, well, what if that's not it? What if I did this? What about that? And I definitely had that time, but I throughout all of that, I somehow just maintained that foundation of spirituality that I started in high school. And that was something that was a constant for me throughout all the phases that I've gone through. And so that's just, it kind of makes sense that this is where I've ended up.
Yes, absolutely. What do you think? Is there something in particular you've seen that really tends to draw people into the coaching world, into wanting to become a coach? Is there a sort of a familiar theme there, or could it be for any number of reasons?
I mean, I've worked with people who go into that for so many different reasons, but I think something that is a constant is it's people who become coaches are generally people who have been through things and have made it through things themselves, things that were very challenging, and they somehow, like, where they were given the space, they were given the resources to move through it. And they develop the inner resources and the inner strength to move through it. And so they understand the value of being given the opportunity to access your inner resources. They understand the value of it. And so they want to give that to people. They want to bring that to the world because they see how needed it is. That's definitely a constant that I've seen.
Yeah, and so if people wanted to find out more about the inner life skills coaching, about Say Coach, how would they do that? Where would you recommend they go?
I would suggest, both have fabulous websites. I think very comprehensive, very informative. So just innerlifeskills.com and saycoach.com. There's so much information, and there are just ample ways to contact us. So if someone were to want to join a group class, because some people really enjoy the group class experience, one-on-one training isn't for everyone. Some people like having that sense of being able to chat to other people in their class about what they're learning. And so Inner Life Skills, the atmosphere in the class is just always so brilliant, and the trainers are all so good. I feel very privileged every time I get to train a class for Inner Life Skills or join a class with Inner Life Skills as a co-trainer. So I would say to go in that direction. And then people who do want a bit more of a personal experience, who want to ask a lot of questions and make it super relevant to them, people who kind of want some guidance in how to bring these skills that they're learning into their existing business, or how to use it to start a coaching practice or something that can serve other people, and how to find those people. And if they want a bit more guidance in that sense, I would suggest contacting Say Coach. Or if they have trouble with a schedule, or something I've definitely found is that moms tend to want the one-on-one, because the classes for the Inner Life Skills courses are 3 hours each, and I don't know any mom who just has 3 hours lying around.
Right. Yeah.
So then we tend to like to break it up into 2 90-minute classes a week instead of 1 3-hour class. So just that flexibility can be very helpful.
And if somebody was thinking, maybe had the idea that they might kind of like to become a coach, but they're not sure if they could do it, or they're having some doubts, what would you say to them?
I would say to them, do a short course. I would suggest Coach 101. It's not a big investment financially or time-wise, and it gives you a very clear understanding of what exactly coaching is and the kinds of skills that you will develop if you choose to become a coach and kind of walk that path. By the end of Coach 101, you actually are able to take someone through a fully structured coaching session. Obviously, it's just the absolute basics. You learn the 3 fundamental skills that a coach needs to learn, and there's a beautiful 3-step method for kind of the basic structure of a coaching session. But then you'll just have a good idea of what coaching is all about. Or otherwise, just get in touch. I mean, I happily have free Zoom calls with anyone who is considering becoming a coach or building a business, or, and then I'm very happy to have a conversation and just answer questions.
Okay, that's great. So is there anything in particular you're looking forward to in your business this year? Is there any specific goals that you have in mind, or just keep doing what you're doing because you love it so much?
Honestly, doing what I'm doing because I love it so much, and on a more expanded scale. Because I've been doing all the training and the mentoring myself, leading up to really building this business. But now I've got this team of trainers with me, and I think that's what I'm the most excited about, because we are a very diverse team in where we've worked, what our areas of expertise are, what we love doing the most and focusing on with people. We are so diverse that I'm excited to work with clients and have a conversation and see what their vision is and what it is they're looking for and who they are, and to be able to kind of use this amazing team I've got to extract what is going to be the most valuable for this person. I think I'm very excited about that, because I think the difference between having a team of experts versus one is,
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. Like there's
Oh,
only
definitely.
so much you can do as an individual in
Mhm.
terms of your level of experience, your level of knowledge, your style of working. So the more options and the more we can bring in, the better. So I'm very, very excited to do more of that this year.
Okay, well, that's great. Wonderful. Well, I wish you all the best with that. And thank you very much for spending time with me today. It's been really interesting to learn more about coaching and about how the process works for you and everything that you're doing. So thank you again. And yeah, I wish you all the best with your future plans for your coaching. All right.
Thank you so much. This was wonderful.
All right, I will say goodbye there. Let me find my buttons.